Hi guys. Happy, what is it? Wednesday. This is welcome to an impromptu live with me, Claire. Let me know in the comments who's here. I'm gonna try and see if I can read the comments because I am streaming this live from my phone. So it might not be possible. Let's just try and figure this out. So YouTube just recently started this new thing called a vertical live where I can actually do this live through the phone and it will be vertical like this. And so I'm giving it a shot to see if this makes any sense to use this feature for quick little paintings with you guys instead of the regular horizontal. So this is the first one. Anyway, so today we are going to be doing something quick and something that I have posted recently. It's one of the bookmarks, and I'm trying to find it here really quickly before we begin so I can show you what we're doing. But honestly, we don't really need to see it because you guys are going to see what it looks like just as soon as I start. So I'm not able to find it, and I don't want to prolong this too long. So let's just begin. So here's what I'm going to be using to paint today, and you can feel free to use this as your inspiration to paint for yourself during your me time painting. So for brushes, I'm going to be using my Princeton Heritage number 3 and Princeton Velvetouch number 4, and some of my favorite autumn hues from the Daler-Rowney set of watercolors. So I recently posted a reel this morning, and this is going to be based off that one. So the flowers are going to be in cadmium red hue and cadmium orange hue. Then we've got the stems and such, and that's going to be a combination of light red, sorry, not light red, burnt sienna and Van Dyke brown, because these are some really pretty browns. And then last but not least, I've decided to make the leaves in a metallic. So we're going to be using the KMS metallics in bronze. So feel free to paint along with me. Paint in your favorite colors. If these are colors that don't speak to you, just be inspired by what I am painting and use it for your own. Make it your own. Okay, now I really like the number 3 brush here because it really gives me some nice fine details. I thought the number 4 gave me fine details. This gives me even finer details. So we're going to start off with using the number 4 for our flowers because they're going to be thicker, bigger. And then we'll use the number 3 for the tinier details that we have. Okay, so starting off, we're going to start off with mixing some of the cadmium orange hue. And I'm just going to add that over here. Oh, someone from Utah is messaging. Hi, Kat. Good morning. Thank you. Blessings and aloha to you as well. Okay, so I'm mixing some orange, cadmium hue orange over here on the side, or cadmium orange hue on the side. And I want to get a light version of it. So I'm going to go to my go-to ratio, which is 30% color, 70% water. And then I'm going to do 3 flowers, 3 main flowers for this. And I'm starting off by doing a little zigzag, like up and down kind of pressing motion like this. And I want it to be thick or broad at the top and narrow at the bottom. So kind of pulling down this way. So feel free to use just the tip of your brush and pull down the color if that's easier for you. And then to the sides, I'm adding little details like that. Okay. Now, once that is done, I'm just going to go ahead and create a couple more. So let's do some here. So they can be varying sizes. It doesn't have to be the same size. Give it a little bit of twirling to the sides to kind of really make it whimsical. I'm going to get some more color. Let's do one right down in the middle here. So notice how I'm kind of fluffing or fussing about with the top areas. Go ahead and take your time perfecting how you want those top areas to be. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is roughly just dipping the tip of my brush in water. I'm going to get some of that cadmium red. And this is my favorite part. I'm just dropping in little lines or strokes of color within my flowers. Let's do this one next before it dries up. Now, it's important that you do this before the area dries up just to get those nice smooth blends. Notice I did not mix my color on my palette. I just took it directly from my color cake and I'm adding these strokes in. Okay, so now that this is done, we're going to get some, I'm using the same brush. Now, the reason I'm using the same brush for these stems is so that it gives me a slightly thicker stem. And once we do the tiny little buds, we'll use the smaller brush to give us a thin stem. Creating contrast with thicknesses in your artwork is something that needs to be noted, and also something that people should be making a daily ritual or something in the forefront of their mind, just like white space. Remember white space? I always talk about white space. So here we go, getting some of my burnt sienna, and then we're going to switch to the Van Dyke brown. I want to create the tiny little areas like that at the bottom of the flower, creating some beautiful contrast. And then we're immediately going to get some of the Van Dyke brown, which is a darker brown. So dipping the tip of my brush in water, getting some of the Van Dyke brown, again, directly from the color cake. I'm going to start off with doing one stem here. So fine pointed tip, lightly grazing. Take your time. Go with the flow. This one came just a little bit thicker, but that's okay. Perfect. So now we've got like these three cute strands. I'm washing off my brush very quickly. Where's my paper towel? It's right here. And then we are going to get some more of the orange. So the orange is right here. So I'm going to get it directly from there, or you could get it from here, wherever. I'm going to create little buds. That's what I'm doing. So one, so like you're painting a droplet. 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to do some here. Actually, let's do some placement is everything, because you got to think about how the stems come down as well. So let's do a couple over here on this side. Remember, we also have our metallic leaves coming up. So keep those things in mind. And you can either choose to follow where I am placing mine, or you can use your own creative judgment and decide to place them wherever you feel is ideal for you. Okay, so we've got that. Let's do some, let's do some here, because I think the leaves, having them higher will be really nice. And fanning across. So just 3 each. Now washing off my brush, I'm taking my number 3, as we previously discussed, and taking some of the Van Dyke brown directly from here. And we are lightly grazing using the tip of our brush and painting that. Actually, this was not Van Dyke brown, guys. Let me get Van Dyke brown. That was burnt sienna. That works too. And I'm going to connect them together. I kind of messed up by creating 2 stems here, but what I would like to do is create 3, attach them, and then have that one long stem coming down. But I forgot about that. Now that I remember it, I'm mentioning it. So light grazing to get nice fine pointed stems, fine pointed tip for our fine stems. Then we have one more. Connecting them together and then pulling all the, okay, need some water. So sometimes when you mix from your color cake, it'll be drier because you're getting more color, less water. So keep that in mind. There we go. So now we've got these nice whimsical flowy stems happening. So last element that I would add to this is our metallics. Metallics make for a fabulous addition if you're doing it as a card, if you're doing it as a painting that you're going to hang up in your hallway or gift a friend, frame, whatever. So I'm using my bronze. I think bronze will be fabulous against the oranges and the browns that we have. And mixing it in here. These are KMS Metallics, handmade paints. And these are some of my favorites to use as embellishments in my painting. So again, using the number 3, getting some mixed color or metallic. We're going to create these nice long leaves. Again, trying to create contrast in sizing and also shapes and texture. So let's create a stem first. So I'm going to create one stem here. And I'm going to do simple leaf. Actually, before we do simple leaves, let's do the more quote unquote complicated ones. So I'm going to draw in a leaf. And I'm simply doing that by starting this way. Painting like an eye shape, yep. And then we're going to lightly graze and paint in lines within the leaf. Okay, so something like that. Then I'm going to create one more like this. Again, giving it movement, giving it some flow. Painting the lines in. Now it won't be perfect. You'll get little smudges of color like that, and that's okay. We're not looking for perfection. When we paint for fun and for ourselves, we're looking more to relax and kind of enjoy the moment and express creatively. Now, another style of leaves that you can mix with these is just kind of starting with the tip, pressing down, trailing back off on the tip, and then just attaching it to the stem. So we've got 2 kinds. We've got the solid, and then we've got the ones where you're creating a little bit of texture in it. So feel free to try either or. I'm going to do one more side to this leaf just to kind of give it that nice shape. And then I'm going to do a 4th one, just a smaller version of that, kind of starting from here. So we've got a little bit of stuff happening at the bottom. Okay, getting more color. Let's create some at the top of this. Now just be careful that your hand doesn't sit on top over here. So lightly start. I'm going to start the leaf first this time. So I want it to be facing that way. So I'm starting here. Notice how my edges are actually, in fact, a lot thicker. And that you can just work on the thickness based on, you can practice getting brush control because this is all about brush control. Just making sure you don't press down too much to get those super thick lines. Now, the reason mine came a little bit thicker is because my hand is at an awkward position trying to avoid smudging this area, and then I still ended up smudging that over there. So just be careful. It happens, it's fine. You just kind of roll with the flow or go with the flow, and you'll figure out a way to get around it. So for instance, just as soon as we're finished painting this, I'm going to show you exactly how to tackle that. And yeah, the reason art is supposed to be, or watercolor is supposed to be therapeutic, is because of the flow that you get when you paint. But the most satisfying thing about art in general is when you finish painting, you're going, I made that. So don't stress too much. Okay, so here we go. So before I paint anymore, I'm going to take my number 4, cleaning my number 4 and making sure that it doesn't have too much water. So I'm lightly dabbing onto paper towel. I'm just going to go around here and smudge to take away color. Now at this point, you can take paper towel. I have some here, and you can just press down to lift off. Majority of the time it works. There are times where we'll get a very faint shadow of the color, but nothing too crazy. And there are some times where it becomes completely clean, but it is key that you do that while it is still damp. Okay, so I'm going to slightly turn my sheet here. Let's do one more. I want to leave that open-ended because I don't want it to be all the way down. So here we go. Let's just do the plain leaves. So it's just 3 elements that we're taking and we're painting on repeat and using our own creative judgment to figure out where we want to place them. And I just showed you guys exactly how to paint it. So yeah, if you want to try this again by taking a sheet of paper, drawing in some lines, and then in each section, kind of dividing it into 3, and then in each section doing vertical paintings like this. You can create your own set of bookmarks, and those can be presents, those can be cards even, because who says you have to give a card as a greeting? You can absolutely give something that works and that people can use, for example, a bookmark. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I am going to end off with one final thing, and that's going to be a splatter. So instead of using the bronze for the splatter, I am going to use, you can also use the bronze, but I'm going to be using the number 4 and getting some of the Van Dyke brown. I think the Van Dyke brown, which is the darkest color that we have on here, will be a nice enough contrast with everything else that we have happening. And so that's why I'm choosing it. So now this is contrast via color as opposed to sizing or texture or whatever. Okay, here we go. So I'm holding my brushes like this. I do this in tons of my paintings, and if you're new on here and you're just finding me, check out the YouTube channel because there's tons of videos on there. And some of them are even longer. Okay, here we go. So almost done. I'm going to concentrate a little bit more at the bottom so it really looks full. There we go. And now washing off the brush. So I have a clean, damp brush. You can actually go in and smudge out some of the color so it can look like speckles of background bits that are within the splatter. So giving your loose painting a full look. You can do a lot of that at the bottom. Just to kind of tighten up the area at the bottom here. So something like that. And then just wait for it to dry before doing anything else. But in a nutshell, this is a cute little autumn rendition of flowers and I guess leaves happening. So feel free to paint, try this on your own. I would love to see how you do. So send me or tag me in your work. And then if you're looking for more of these things, I am going to be releasing a new Skillshare class, and we're going to be learning how to paint all of these things and coming together and creating a composition where we put pears and flowers and leaves and all that good stuff together. So check it out. I like to schedule the classes so that we have in-depth knowledge on how to create each element before we sit together to paint our elements. So if you're on Skillshare, come join me. And if not, stay tuned for more videos on here. And like I mentioned, there's tons on the YouTube channel. So just go check it out. Thanks guys for joining me and have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll chat soon. Bye.